Well, it would be hard to find a company in Canada that will be unaffected by the results of what takes place south of the border. And I'll just give you a few examples. The energy sector. If there's a change of government in the United States, President Biden has pledged that he would reverse the presidential permit for Keystone XL. This is a huge pipeline being built by TransCanada that would increase the takeaway capacity from Canada and get rid of some of the differential that we are currently experiencing. That's very material, especially to the large energy companies in Canada. So if you're in a boardroom, you need to think about that as you look forward, if there is a change of government. On the other hand, if there's a change of government, there will be a stringent set of environmental remedies that would be quite similar to those in Canada. Everything from methane emissions to prohibitions on where you can drill and so on. In some ways, that would level the playing field in terms of environmental responsibility between Canada and the United States, and probably advantage Canadian companies who have a head start on that. So one would have to try to handicap which of those alternatives might be best for you, but it is material. If you're on the board of a cannabis company, it's going to be very material what happens, because depending on the result, there could be a very large liberalization of cannabis regulation in the United States of America. That would improve the export platform for Canadian companies, and Canada is probably one of the largest repositories of cannabis companies in the world. But it would also change the fundamentals of the industry. To give you an example, Canadian banks at the present time are really unable to bank this sector of the economy because of their fear of repercussions from the regulators south of the border. So if all of a sudden that were to change, it may very well change all of the financial supports and liquidity provided to the cannabis sector. So if you're on the board of one of those companies, you'll be looking at this because it could be very material. If you're on the board of a construction engineering company or somebody involved in infrastructure, you'll be very interested in the result of the election, because if the Democrats win, they're pledging to introduce as much as $1 trillion of infrastructure expenditures, a lot of it in the green space area. And that's not even getting into the tax issues. If the Democrats win, they're going to reverse half of the Trump tax cuts. For Canadian companies with a large footprint in the United States of America, that is very material. On the other hand, the intention of a Democratic administration, if there is one, is to increase the taxation levels for corporate taxes from 21 to 29%, and to get rid of the capital gains and dividend deductions in such a way that they'll be taxed as ordinary income. That would materially level the playing field between Canada and the United States, and perhaps even give Canadian companies an advantage on the tax front. So it's something that we would have to watch very, very carefully. The intention is to have a 15% minimum corporate tax to catch the Amazons of the world and others who really don't pay too much in taxation. That may level the playing field for our retailers, and that would be very material in that boardroom as well. So you can see there are a lot of areas where there's a massive amount of impact on Canada and Canadian companies. I'll just close by saying, I think that's complicated. A lot of that surrounds the election for president. But in the United States, we're electing more than a president. We're electing a Congress, and particularly the Senate. And in many ways, the Senate election is more material, or as material to us as the presidential election. Because on issues like taxation, it's the Senate who ultimately is the final decision maker. So a President Biden, if he were to be elected, could end up having great intentions of doing many of the things that I've just talked about, trying to reduce some of the inequality by changing the tax structure. But on the other hand, the Senate could block all of that if they wish, if it continues to be Republican controlled.